And we're back in the Diamond Lane 20 minutes after 5, sitting at minus 10 degrees Celsius with a wind chill of minus 14 at the Forks. You are in the Diamond Lane with me, Sarah Jo, and soon the Cecilia String Quartet, based in Toronto, internationally acclaimed, winners of competitions in Japan, France, and of course our own national Banff String Quartet competition. They've performed in some of the most prestigious chamber music venues in Europe and North America, and they are here to perform tomorrow night at Eckhart Gramate Hall at the University of Winnipeg as part of Virtuosi's 16-17 season. And what a treat we get them for Birchwood Jaguar 107 Live.
From the Classic 107 studios in downtown Winnipeg, 107 Live for Birchwood Jaguar, the art of performance.
Catherine, Sarah, Caitlin, and Rachel, the Cecilia String Quartet, back in Winnipeg. So glad to have you ladies back in Winnipeg. I'm going to bring down the microphone. I love that we have Schubert's bust here standing in for our music stand. So welcome back to Winnipeg. This is not your first time here, ladies. Wait, Catherine, is this your first time here?
No, I grew up in Saskatchewan, so
okay. So you've been close by.
Yes, I've ventured out to Winnipeg on many occasions.
Okay, well, good. Well, welcome back to you too. But the Cecilia Quartet, you guys are based in Toronto. You're the resident quartet at U of T. So I mean, you're in this hub of musical creativity, right? I mean, you get to be in the middle of this. What is it like to be working at the U of T as the resident quartet? I mean, I just because you are such great communicators with one another. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Yeah. Let's talk about the U of T.
I think it's been really wonderful. It's a little bit surreal for me, especially.
This is Sarah we're speaking
with.
Yes,
hello.
Hi, Sarah.
Because I did my undergrad at University of Toronto, so like 16 years ago or something like that.
Aren't you from Ontario as well?
Yeah, I grew up mostly in the Toronto area.
Okay.
So now to be back, unfortunately they haven't updated the building, but otherwise it's been great, and there's a lot of great, professors and students there, and so it's nice to be able to come back and give, everything that we've learned after all this time.
Yeah. So did all of you attend the U of T? No. Rachel shaking her head. No. Rachel and Caitlin, either of you. Yeah, please. Rachel's our cellist, Caitlin our violist. So did neither of you went? No?
Caitlin actually did her doctorate at U of T, but we've all had sort of varied, a sketchy scholarly past. So I defected to the United States of America, and at one point Caitlin was studying in Germany, so we've kind of been all over.
Well, but then you've also been all over as a quartet, not just individually. So, I mean, tell us a little bit about your international adventures of late. Which one of you would like to speak to that? We're getting points. Caitlin, come on up to the mic. Hi.
Yeah, hi. We've had so many really fantastic adventures abroad. I think for me personally, my personal favorite is going to Europe. We've been there several times now, and we're working with a wonderful manager, Andrea Hempel in Germany, and we get to go and just play for these wonderful audiences that very much appreciate chamber music, and so that for me is a fantastic experience.
Something else that I've been reading about you as a quartet, not just that you are very gifted, which I mean, when you get to sit in front of you like this, when I have this great pleasure of being here and getting to hear every nuance in the room, but for you as outreach, you don't just perform to your traditional audiences. You also perform in really interesting situations for really interesting people who may not have access to classical music. Does somebody want to talk about that? Yeah? Okay, we're back to Sarah.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, definitely. I think that, we have this idea in our quartet of musical inclusiveness, and this idea that what we do is beautiful. We enjoy it very much, and we feel that this music, can change people's lives and make people really happy, and therefore everyone should be able to experience that. So, yeah, we have been very fortunate to play, in nuclear physics laboratories and women's jails and, long-term care facilities, and all those audiences have been so appreciative, and we feel that it's enriched us as performers as well.
Absolutely. And congratulations. I also read that the Xenia concerts you're now officially a not-for-profit. That's a huge thing. It takes 3 years, isn't it? It's 3 years old now, and you guys have applied for it. Is that how long it takes?
Well, Xenia Concerts Incorporated is now a not-for-profit. So we are kind of the initiators of that project, and now there's sort of a board of directors that's overseeing it. So, but yeah, that was one of our projects to present concerts for children on the autism spectrum, because, as you may know, not all the time, but a lot of our concerts involve this sort of implied, social expectation of sitting very still and don't you dare open that candy wrapper, and which can be alienating for people on the spectrum, because, that might not be behavior that they're able to partake in. So, and we thought that was a shame, because so many of them love music and actually are quite musically inclined. So we started this concert series in Toronto, and the feedback has been amazing from families just saying, thank you so much for letting us have this opportunity. And so, yeah, we're really proud of that.
And are you doing a Xenia concert here while you're in Winnipeg? Yeah?
We are on Sunday morning at 11.
Okay. Is that still at Eckhart Gramate Hall?
I think so.
We think so? Yes. It's at where? At which hall? Riedel Hall? Riedel Hall. Okay, so it's at Riedel Hall. I'm getting through the window from Andrew. The ED of Virtuosi. Thank you very much, Andrew.
Sorry.
No. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. But that's great. So we're going to have that opportunity we'll find a way to get you folks that information out there in Radioland. Absolutely. But you know what? Now that we've talked about all of these other magical things that you're doing, let's talk a little bit about the repertoire that you've been performing here in Winnipeg, and also about your celebration of Canadian women composers. So, because I heard last night at the Winnipeg New Music Festival in the basement of the Bay Building, I heard Émilie Lebel's amazing quartet, so stunning. Taxonomy of Paper Wings, is that what it's called? Yeah. So it was so stunning. Okay, so Rachel, tell us a little bit about this project that you have taken on as this amazing, powerful women quartet.
Sure. Yeah, a few years ago, we thought it would be a great idea to celebrate and support Canadian female compositional talent. So we began the process of commissioning 4 female composers, and Émilie Lebel is one of them. Mm-hmm. And last night we also played a work by Nicole Lisée, who is another one of our 4. So now we're sort of playing them around, and they'll be recording in the future.
So other than Nicole, who's also been here in the studio, this is great. She's lovely. And Émilie, who are the other 2 female composers you commissioned?
So there's Katarina Churchin, and we're actually playing her work on Virtuosi concerts.
We've been saying her last name wrong the whole time.
Oh, we did for a while.
Churchin, Churchin. Okay, fantastic. So Katarina's work, and then who else?
And the final composer was Kati Agos.
Oh, who has also been here in Winnipeg.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I know. She's also wonderful. Just had babies. Okay, speaking of having babies, so your regular first violin is out on mat leave, which is why we have the great pleasure of having Catherine in with us. So welcome. How did you find your way into the quartet? Because I mean that has to happen. I mean humans are humans, and they have babies and have health things, and have to go on their whatever. So how did you end up joining the ranks?
Well, they asked me to.
How did you know these lovely ladies, though? How did you find them?
I've known Catherine. I think we've all known Catherine for years. I mean, she spent some time in the Toronto musical community as well, but she's a fantastic violinist. She's actually founding member of the Linden String Quartet, a very successful string quartet, that was playing for several years. So, of course, when we heard she was willing and available, we jumped at the chance.
Fantastic. Well, welcome.
Thank you. It's a huge pleasure for me.
Well, I can only imagine. I can only imagine being part of this. We should talk a little bit about what else people are going to hear tomorrow night before we have a little bit more music. So Mendelssohn, first quartet. Mm-hmm. Brilliant. What was the reason behind choosing that?
Well, we recently, about a year and a half ago, we recorded Mendelssohn Opus 44, number 1, number 2. And that CD was actually Juno nominated, which we were pretty excited about. And we really enjoyed that project because, for me, growing up, I think there's a little bit of a stigma around Mendelssohn as being kind of, straight-laced and not that interesting. But I think the more we studied his quartets, the more we found all this life and electricity. So it was, so we really enjoyed doing the recording, and we're really enjoying touring those pieces now.
Excellent. And then Death and the Maiden, I mean, classic, like total just brilliant moment in Schubert's literature. For me, and our bust very much appropriately holding up your Mendelssohn, which is great. This beautiful union. And tell us a little bit about the Katarina Churchin piece, just because it sounds really unique. And for our listeners who aren't necessarily listeners of the new musics, what can they expect from the Churchin?
Well, Katarina was actually, I think, the first composer we chose to commission because we'd already played some of her works. We just found them extremely, I know sometimes it's a bad word, but I mean it positively accessible in that there has some folkloric sort of elements that audiences seem to really respond to immediately. And combined with a really unique voice for like contemporary music. So it's very dissonant, and yet there's like all these folk rhythms that sort of bring you through the entire piece. So it's pretty fun.
Oh, very much looking forward to it. I'm really going to try and make it tomorrow night. This is the Cecilia String Quartet. They are performing tomorrow night at Eckhart Grammaté Hall as part of Virtuosi's 16-17 season, regular attendees of the Winnipeg circuit. So glad to have you back. And please join us if you want more information. Virtuosi.mb.ca is the place to go. Or, of course, you can visit our website, classic107.com. All right, ladies, what are we going to hear?
We're going to hear a little snippet of the last movement of Mendelssohn Opus 44, number 1.
Oh, this is so exciting. The Cecilia String Quartet here for another episode of Birchwood Jaguar 107 Live. The Cecilia String Quartet with a little Mendelssohn. A remarkable episode of Birchwood Jaguar 107 Live.
107 Live is Classic 107's intimate concert series, brought to you by Birchwood Jaguar, the art of performance.